tickets. He just said, let's meet up. I
Here
don't want
we go. We are live. Another edition of the Let's Go Ricky Roll podcast. We texted Tully. And he didn't respond, so I don't know if he's going to come on. It's been a fun one. The World Series going on, Beth Durant alongside Ricky Romero. Today's guest is Adrian Garcia Marquez, the voice of the World Series for Fox Deportes. We'll come on with him in a little bit. Rick, how you feeling, man? How was Halloween for you?
How was Halloween? I mean, I got put in a Chewbacca costume, man. So I had no say. There it is. Everyone's been clowning on my mask because they said, my cousin said it looks like I went and bought it in TJ. I have no idea what Star Wars is. I know obviously some of the characters. I didn't even know who my youngest son Diego was. Kylo Ren. No idea who that is. I had no idea who Cara was. I don't know jack shit about Star Wars, but you know, for the kids. So I did it. They were pumped. And it's funny because they still bring the mask. Diego's been bringing the mask to me every day and saying, "Here you go, Daddy. This is yours. This is yours. Put it on." So I don't know if I just look better in the mask or what. But yeah, man.
All right.
They had a fun. I mean, I just walked around the streets with them, you know, and it only lasts about an hour. And but you know, it was fun. It was cool. I mean, we've been trying to dress up every year. And so this year I got to be Chewbacca.
Dude, you're like me. I have no idea about what Star Wars is. I really don't care about it either.
Yeah,
but it was something that in our group chat, Marco, our accountant, is really upset about that with you because you don't care about that. And Star Wars people are different people, man. So you better be careful. We're not going to get attacked right now.
Crazy. I know. I never got into it, man. It's just, yeah. Like isn't there like 20 movies? It seems like every year. Yeah, and I'm like, dude,
it's a whole different world. Now you know who really gets into it though for Halloween? Our friend CC Sabathia, man. Now
he goes every year though. Every year they go hard, man, and they go crazy. Yeah, like some of those costumes are crazy.
Yeah, and I've heard that he has like a huge party in New Jersey where he lives, and it's like the big thing, and everybody goes out there. But yeah, like I've never wanted to dress up. And the kids, I would just go take them around a little bit, not much, not really there. But like all the people that get all dressed up for Halloween with their family, and you're like, dude, did you guys take like months to make these preparations and all that? Ready, Rick? For me to be the old man, all that para el pinche Instagram. Just so they can post on Instagram that look at what we're doing as couples. Because there was never any couples doing stuff. Like Mexican dads weren't going with you to El Tricky or whatever, right? They were just at home, right? Or then they were yelling at because kids were showing up. Like there was none of that. Everybody dresses up, and the moms weren't dressing up. But now, Pinterest and Instagram, they got everybody all figured out. So yeah, my old man ran.
Yeah, no, but you know what? To me, it's cool because the boys love it, man. They love it. They got a kick out of me wearing a Chewbacca costume. Like they thought it was the funniest thing ever. So that to me itself is like beyond satisfying. So
yeah, it's you say it's for the kids. It's for the kids.
Yeah, but other than that, man, I mean, everything's been cool. You know, a little off the loop on the games. I've kind of been in and out. It's just that it almost seems like they start right at dinner time, and then I go put the kids down, and it's still like the fourth inning when I come back in to watch.
Dude,
you know, you can see both teams are lacking starting pitching right now, and obviously Charlie Morton being out hurts the Braves a little bit, but man, the ball's in their court still. I mean, they're up. I'm sure they wish they would have put them away at home, but now you got to go to Houston, where Houston plays really, really well. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm excited to watch this game 6, and us as fans, I'm sure you would agree, game 7 would be the best, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're hoping for. But you know, I know those guys are probably like, let's just put them away now. I'm talking about the Braves, so we'll see what happens. But you know, Max Fried is a good friend, and I know he has struggled this postseason, so I kind of hope for his sake that he goes out there and he dominates and he does what we saw him do all season. So hopefully he has a good game.
Yeah, Max Fried, as I like to say, is another one of my stories of I saw him in high school because I called his game when he was playing in the area code games. Him and Lucas Giolora, so they played the same area code game that I worked at Blair Field, and it's cool to see. And there was a good story in the LA Times today about him. How he was at Montclair Prep, where a good friend Shad Ortiz and Russ Ortiz and Brad Fulmer and other players were at, and then Montclair Prep shut down, so he was going into a senior year, had no high school, so he was trying to figure out what's going on. So go and check that out. What I want to see at Game 7? Hell yeah, because anything Game 7 is awesome. I actually spoke at Mateo School at St. John Bosco last week to the journalism class. Some of the kids were asking like, "Well, what are the coolest events you've been to?" And I mean, I've done a lot of stuff in my career, but I never really thought about it. But yeah, I worked the Lakers Celtics Game 7. Damn, okay. I've worked the Kings Game 7. I worked the World Series Game 7. Like, damn, and there's nothing like a Game 7 to just make it feel like, okay, this is cool. So I want to see it in baseball there for sure.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
we have.
I was at a Game 7. It's funny because I just got the memory. I got a picture of a memory. It was me and Cara. We were at game. It was probably, I don't know how many years ago now, but it was
The
around
Dodger
this
one,
time
right?
where, yeah,
I saw
Game
you guys
7 against Houston. So, so it's pretty cool that it's been, I don't know how long, but I just remember, this is a funny story. Game 7, everyone wishes for that Game 7 as a fan, and Dodger Stadium traffic is awful, atrocious. So in the ninth inning, I kind of had a feeling the Dodgers were down and out. So in the ninth inning hits, Car and I like literally sprinted to our car, so we didn't sit in any traffic.
Hey, that's smart. That's a savvy move right there. You already know game's over. Let's go.
I know fans would be like, dude, you left in the Game 7, but I didn't really care about watching them celebrate. I mean, if it was the Dodgers kind of winning,
Different
if they
story.
were winning, it would have been probably different because I feel like everyone would have been there, everyone would have stayed, and you still would have had a chance to get out. But there was a lot of pissed off fans. I said, you know what? Ninth inning comes, let's roll. We got out of there. We literally ran. I still have a vivid memory of us running to the car, getting on the car, no traffic, out. We were out of there like in 15 minutes.
And everybody else is crying. All right. But yeah, whatever. You do whatever you want, bro. You ain't rooting for either team. Little bit of housekeeping here. Congratulations to our intern, Graham Metzger. Graham at the University of Oregon is going to be working for Sports Illustrated's Duck Digest. So Sports Illustrated has a bunch of, like, on each campus will have their own, like, site for it. And he's going to be writing for Duck Digest. So our intern, Graham, he's writing stories for Sports Illustrated. So look, you hang out with us, you move on up,
Yeah, he better give us some props. He better include us in the article.
Yeah, I think he put us down on his resume. I kid you not. That
really.
Like,
hey man, good kid,
yeah.
good kid, good to have him. I'm glad for him. I'm happy that hey,
it's for the kids.
Start. Like you said, Beto. I mean, you either go out and get it, or it's not going to come to you. Especially in the business that you guys are in, it just doesn't. Nobody's going to hand you anything. So when you're out there, and I feel like you do a good job of talking to kids and asking, and they ask you questions, and you're raw, you're honest, and I've seen you post on Twitter where like, hey, there's a job here for to be something with the Los Angeles Lakers. Ready, go. Like, I'm not going to tell you how to apply, how to do this, just go. And I feel like that's just the way life is sometimes. You just gotta go.
Man. I gotta talk. Yeah, I gotta talk to you about my kid, man. Shout out to Go to the Wapo, Pops Mobile Detailing, Dodger Baseball, Montoya Mex, Marco 311, and also our good friend Ruben Polanco. What's going on? There is going to be, we have an announcement coming up. There's going to be the Ricky Romero Baseball Camp is coming up Thanksgiving weekend. If you know any kids who are in the LA Unified School District, who are legit players, but they also have good grades, tell them to go check out the Ricky Romero Baseball Camp Instagram page, or go to Ricky Romero Baseball Camp for information on how to do that. We're only going to take a limited amount of kids. It's the second one that we're going to be doing it. We're going to do it at East LA College. Just got the confirmation. It'll be really cool. And it's the only camp in the East Side. And it's the only camp that's absolutely free. And there's no, oh, by the way, yeah, it's free, but then, let me sell you my package for this. There's no catch. It's actually doing something for free, and a lot of friends out there. So look at all the details of Ricky Romero Baseball Camp. And I know that's something that's dear to your heart, right, Rick?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I remember the first one we did. It was a little overwhelming at times, but just because how it came together. It was just us talking about it, and then we kind of put our brains to work, and you guys did all the logistics of it, and just to see it and stand and walk around different stations, that was and just see the kids interacting with former pros, current big leaguers, scouts, you name it, and just for them to have a little bit of an insight. And we're not saying, hey, your kid's gonna come out an all-star out of this, but it's more just the knowledge where they're able to soak in and just take what they want. Not everything is for everyone. The game of baseball is not for me. I have always said it. It's not a cookie cutting type thing. Everyone's different. Everyone likes. Everyone has different ways they go about the game and stuff like that. But all we can do is provide you with the tools. And a lot of those guys that we bring in are all experienced. Uh, College baseball players, big leaguers, minor leaguers, and all that stuff, and the cool thing about it, Beto, is that it's not just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna bring in a bunch of big leaguers and Ricky's gonna step off to the side and not really interact. No, I've told you from day one, I love being hands on. To me, it's not about big leaguers or anything like that. It's about bringing quality people, and I think that we've been blessed with having that kind of help. Shout out to Al Quintana, who last couple years ago ran a tremendous camp on the hitting side, and I've always said it, man. Like, I trust that guy with my kids, when it comes to hitting.
Yeah.
And he just runs such a smooth show, and man, I can't wait. The fact that obviously, shout out to ELAC too for letting us use their field. And the biggest thing is for me, like I said, it's the pride of being from East LA, and just sharing a bit of my knowledge, my story with them. And as you know, Beto, it's
Yeah.
not many kids come out of there, and if we're able to make a bit of an impact, not just in baseball but in life, then it's completely 100%, 1,000% worth what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's not a camp where Ricky shows up, hey, here's a picture, and then he leaves, and you're left to like the guy from the corner is giving you instruction. No, you're gonna have legit guys. A lot of friends of the podcast are gonna be there. I know Alan Trejo, who's with the Rockies, gonna be there. Was it Mark Serrano? Alex Anabio, guys that are available that have been on the podcast. They're gonna try to be. I know Joe Musgrove said he's gonna try to make it because it's that Sunday of Thanksgiving, so it'll be pretty cool. So you're right away. You hear those guys, and you're like, what?
No,
Noe Ramirez, of course.
Yeah, he will make it. I'm sure Patch will make it, right?
Oh, everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna try because it's that Sunday of Thanksgiving. We'll be there, and it's like, hey, you're not gonna go pro, but damn, you can find a way to make a living in the sports world and get the hell out of East LA.
You know what? And nobody thought I was gonna go pro, and that's the thing. That's the biggest thing, that's the biggest thing that nobody knows if you're going to go pro. Nobody knows if you're going to go play college baseball. Nobody knows that, but it's just, hey, here's our story. Even including Noe. He's out of the Ramona projects, and nobody knew what he was going to do, and look at him now. So nobody. The thing is that, oh yeah, like my dreams are to play D1 baseball. Good, I want them to have those kind of dreams. But there's a lot of work that goes in between those dreams, and that's what we're there for, to be able to say, ask questions and whatever it is that they want to know. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
It'll be fun.
I'm going to be fresh off of a plane from Costa Rica, and it's going to be fun once I land. I know I'm going to be excited about it while I'm out there, but once I'm back, it's going to be straight camp mode, and I can't wait.
And somebody who can be perfect testament and hopefully can make it that day will be our next friend, Adrian Garcia Marquez, who's joining us right now from, where are you? Houston, Texas. He had dreams of going big league, but you know what? What he's doing that we're not doing, he's calling his 8th World Series today. The voice of Fox Deportes, Adrian Garcia Marquez, who travels with his own microphone. That's legit, bro. What do you do?
Oh yeah, but I gotta tell you though, I tried to plug it in. Your system didn't allow it, man. Como que está discriminando tu sistema aquí, brother. But I do travel. I always have these guys on standby just in case. Obviously we do stuff for Charger podcast, all this stuff went on the road. So I'm always ready. Beto, you and I, and Ricky knows as well, we travel prepared just in case. Nunca sabes. The world might fall apart. You might have to go Walter Cronkite and deliver the news. So you got to always have something in your back.
Deliver the news right now.
No, that's dope. And I remember the first time you introduced us, Beto. I remember he was working for the Voice of the Lakers at the time, and I didn't even know they had a Spanish voice. And ever since that day, I was like, man, I'm gonna listen to the Laker games in Spanish. There's just so much more flavor to it, and that's the one thing I've always noticed and admire from you, Adrian. Just the way that I already know how passionate you are about baseball itself, just a fan, and now you add that into your work, dude. It like I like sit there and watch it, and I'm like, man, like everything this guy is saying is just keeps you in tune, and I'm speaking to the people that are listening to this podcast. That like if you get a chance, flip on that Spanish channel and listen to this guy roll, man. It's a thing of beauty. And thanks again for joining us, man. It's awesome. I'm pumped for you, man.
I appreciate the invite, man.
Yeah. All right. Now, before we get into your story and everything else, so if you've heard him for the first time, if you haven't heard Adrian Garcia Marquez, he's the voice of the Chargers in Spanish, Fox Deportes, also now doing soccer for, is it CONCACAF? Hopefully I'm getting it right. Is that what it is for CBS Sports?
Yeah, it's a CBS Sports, and yeah, I get to call Mexico games, so
in English.
Living the dream, Bert. That's the best phrase I think of all of my colleagues. I think that's the one that describes everything for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Living the dream, and as you said, all of us that when we start out, especially in our case as former athletes, and you're trying to see a ver si llegas a jugar a pro ball in algún momento, you give it your best shot, and then you see that you're not good enough, then you figure out another way to get in there and still figure out a way to live the dream. And that's exactly what I get to do, be the voice of the Chargers, get to do this on Fox Deportes, have the privilege of calling soccer and Mexico games for CBS. And, I'm not stopping, man. I feel like I'm just getting started.
Man, like you said, I'm your biggest fan, so I'm going to let people know what's going on here. All right, so if you're listening to the World Series, and I am a big Joe Buck fan. He's professional. He's smooth. He is the reason he's been doing it for 26 years is why. So, and if you think Joe Buck hates your team, it's because he does. He only hates your team. So if you're a Dodger fan, he only hates the Dodgers. He only hates the Braves. And that's when you know you're a good announcer, when half the people think that you hate him, which means he's probably talking about the team that's winning. It's never, hey, Joe Buck hates my team that's winning, huh? It's always when they're losing, he hates those teams.
Yeah. No, it's been happening to us, and it's hilarious when you consider, exactly that detail over the World Series. Hey, you'll see it on Twitter. No, hey, Adrian, you guys are rooting for the Astros. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Hey, you guys are rooting for the Braves. No, I'm not. I just try to flavor it up for both sides. And whoever does the best work gets, the emotion. So I know I can, it's the passion. At the end of the day, Ricky, you said it, man. It's about the passion from the fans, from all of us, the way we kind of just bring it to the table as professionals, as broadcasters, as friends, amigos, you guys doing the podcast. It's the passion for baseball. And baseball fans, are the aficionados atentos. I start off the game talking about that because, we've seen, and no disrespect to fans in the NBA or the NFL or anywhere else, but baseball fans are different. Baseball fans study the numbers a little bit deeper. They see the tendencies a little bit more, and it's passed on. It's tradition. Ricky, man, your dad, who passed on baseball to you. For me, it was my abuelito. He was a big Dodger fan. I know he went to the grave still mad at me that I never converted to Dodgers full in that sense. I was Padres. Hey, Tony Gwynn, that was my guy. I wanted to name Tony Gwynn Garcia, man. It's just one of those things where it's tradition. It's part of the show. And I think with the fans, it's the passion that marks everything and has it for generations now.
All right. Now, let me get you this right here. So people can say that, oh, Adrian hates this team. I got highlights from Fox Deportes of Adrian calling home runs for both teams. All right. But don't tell me that he favors one more. So if you've never heard a Spanish call, now I'm also one of the biggest haters on Spanish announcers. And I'm going to say this because most Spanish announcers think they're calling soccer and it's like, oh, home run, home run, home run. Calm down. Adrian is legit. Grew up in San Diego, played JUCO ball, plays college ball, knows what's up, and his flavor is the best. I always say he's probably the best one out there, English or Spanish. Not because he's on the podcast and he buys tequila, but because he really is. All right, here's Adrian calling a home run of Freddie Freeman on Fox Deportes during the World Series.
Suelta el de Palenque, República Dominicana, y Freddie Freeman, cañonazo, vuela la pelota. ¡Adiós! Tablazo de Freddie Freeman, libera su swing. Y sí, se convierte en Freddie Krueger Freeman aquí.
Freddy Krueger.
That was Halloween, man. It was Halloween.
Hey, man, I want to ask you that. Does that just come, obviously, experience, but like, obviously you don't know you're going to say that, but like you come up with the coolest nicknames for all these athletes, you know, like Kobe Bryant, El Macho, you know, for Justin Herbert, you know, El Príncipe Azul. Like, do you sit there like, what am I gonna call these guys, or like does it just like click right away?
It's part of the flow, Rick. You know, and it's kind of like with, you know, like when you bring up Kobe, you know, that was one of like the cool moments I had with him when I talked to him. Hey, man, you know what? Tú eres el macho, papá, the alpha male. Because you see guys in the NBA come up to Kobe like he's the alpha, right? So therefore, there's the macho. Sitting at home, you know, thinking about these things. No, there's times where you're kind of like fans or even players will be like, hey, man, where's mine? I'm like, it's got to come to me, man. It's part of the force. It's part of the energy. And it'll show up, you know, in the wash, if you will. And that's exactly kind of how it happens, you know. And in those moments, half of the time, Rick, I don't really know que me salió la pendejada, you know, like it'll just come out. And there's been some stupid stuff that I've said. So some stick, some don't, but it's just part of the flow and having fun with it, you know. And I think that's at the end of the day, that's what I do, man. Have fun with it.
To me, the Kobe Bryant one is the best one, dude. Like it just, I mean, I know it's the Mamba, the Black Mamba, but El Macho is like the perfect way to describe that guy. Yeah. And it just, the way you would say his, you know, when you were announcing the Laker games and El Macho, you know, like it was like, damn, that's dope. You know, I wish I had that nickname.
That's the thing. Like, and Adrian obviously called the Lakers how many years? 5 seasons you did?
And six
seasons. We were there for Lakers. We're going to get into that too. Golden. We're going to get into the basketball, everything he's done in his career. But right now, keep it with the baseball. Remember, he's a hater, so he hates the Braves right now, right? Because that Freddie Freeman, he hates the Astros. Now the Braves fans heard this call and we're like, oh, now he hates us too. Ready for this one?
Soler la prende, vuela la pelota. Jordan Álvarez no la atrapa. ¡Va pelota! 3-2. Arriba los Bravos con un macanazo bravo de Jorge Soler.
Hey, you know what? I gotta tell you, going back to Ricky's point. In that moment, I almost was tempted. I swear, I was almost tempted to sing like Lord, man. You know how she has that song and it's Soler, but I can't do that. I don't have her voice, man. But I was hearing her in my head. That's what I'm saying, man. It's part of the craziness. I get caught up in the emotion, and we're going back to the Laker days example. You know, just like when somebody asked me, how do you do that? I plug into the energy, talking to Macho. It's like, hey, man, I'm going to feed off of your energy. So it's always going to be, you know, that's where I think it happens, guys. You know, the fans for the Astros think I'm rooting for the Astros when the Astros are at home because the energy's at home. Same thing happened in Atlanta. You feel the energy. So it's for the Braves. But honestly, it's whoever does the work and electrifies me and gets the energy going. That's where the juice is going, man. So
I'll tell you this, Rick.
It's having fun with it.
Yeah, Ricky, now that you're working in broadcast, you're going to start meeting people in the business who you're like Adrian, genuine, really good, and other people who are so cheesy and so forced. And I'm not going to say any names, but I'll tell you afterwards, where you see that they walk in and they have like their catchphrase written down and they're going to say, like, you know, oh, and they win this. And it's like, and then today they blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, man. Like, you just got to let it happen and flow. And that's when it sounds more genuine.
That's the one thing that I appreciate. It's the passion. Again, Adrian grew up around baseball. He loves baseball. He loves watching a good game. So obviously he's not rooting for one or the other team. Unless it was the Padres, then I feel like if the Padres
don't sell me out now, Ricky. Don't sell me out. Oh yeah, but good news, man. Good news. Bob Melvin's taking over. That's all I'm saying.
I love it. I love that
me
pickup,
too.
Man. Yeah. It's a great. I mean, when I think and I'm sure you would agree when you think what he's done in Oakland with those teams that are, you know, they don't go out there and spend big money or bring in big players. Now he's coming into a team that's like. It's pretty much right there. Let's just get this team together and get them rolling. And you know what? The NL West is going to be so much better when the San Diego Padres are competing with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I feel like, you know,
well, because the Dodger fans are always worried about Padres. That's why.
Yeah, right. No, you know it's.
Wait, no, Adrian, for real.
You know this.
Yeah. Who talks more about the Padres than the Padres? The Dodger fans do. They're always like, oh, they're our little brother. Oh, this is not. Like, why are you worried about people that are behind you 15 games? It's like, oh, we swept them. Who cares? You're supposed to be there. You're the Dodgers.
Keep in mind, let's rectify this real quick. It was 1/3 of the season, the final third of the season, where the Padres kind of just stalled. They choked at the end, and it happens in baseball. It just, things didn't work out. And that's why I think that's what was the missing piece is a general like Bob Melvin to kind of make sure that doesn't happen at the end. Because, I mean, you have a talented squad. I think there were a lot of questions as far as pitching. Obviously, no team had more injuries to key players than the Padres did over this last summer. So there was a lot to be said as to why they derailed and why the Braves, look at the Braves, man. They only won 88 games and snuck into the dance, and look at the damage that they've done. So in the end, it's who gets hot at the end. And look at the Cardinals. They reeled off that winning streak. Boom, get out of my way, Padres. And when the Padres were kind of stalling, that's when it happened. But I think back to Ricky's point, I love Bob Melvin, that hire, because of everything he's done. You take those 6 postseasons that he led the Oakland A's to 3 division titles, a guy who's been a scout, a guy who's been a bench coach, a guy who's even been assistant GM. So he's done it at every level and has had success. And I like that he said, that might be his last stop. And even he brought up, the Padres are that this close, exactly like you were saying, Ricky. They're not far off. It was just to close out the season a little bit stronger. 3 extra wins, 2-3 more wins. And we're not having this conversation where the Padres, end up flaming out. But that's exactly what the case is. You got to play ball all the way through.
They have probably the best left side of the infield in baseball, and in Machado and Tatis. So, obviously the health for Tatis is going to be important because, man, when he's on the field, he's electric. That's the one guy that you drop everything, and if he's hitting, you literally just sit there and you watch. Like, that's the one guy I will, like, if I'm like doing something and he's coming up to the plate, it's one of those guys you literally have to just watch, because
so much fun.
You just never know what he's gonna do, and I think that's what makes him so special. So I'm looking forward to it too, man. I hope Bob Melvin brings that team back, and again, it just makes the NL West that much better.
Bob Melvin can win in Oakland with the worst facilities in all of baseball. Then he can imagine we can do in Petco, and right there we get some real tacos, right?
Yeah. Oh man, you gotta go and hold on now. Right across right field. I can't say the name of the place, or can I?
Yeah, go ahead. What, they don't pay me?
Lolitas. All you got to do is when you get to Petco, you go to Lolitas Taco Shop. It's just past right field on the other side of Petco. Get yourself that carne asada burrito supreme. I guarantee you there's no turning back. And back to Billy Beane. In fact, when I started with the Oakland A's, it was funny because I told him I was from San Diego. I introduced myself back in 2000 in Chimocoso, getting there to spring training in Arizona. And I hit up Billy Beane, like, pues ya sabes, Bert, Ricky, you know how I go, man. And I go and introduce myself. No le tengo miedo a nada. I wasn't afraid of it. So I hit him up, and then he goes, oh, so you're from San Diego? I go, yes, sir, just like you. He goes, all right, prove it to me. What's the best burrito in all the world or whatever? And I said, oh, Roberto's Burritos. And he just gave me a little fist bump. He knew exactly what I was talking about. Those burritos in San Diego are off the chain. There's no other place on earth that has better burritos than Roberto's at the time. But Lolitas, I think, has now taken over. So if fans, you guys go to Petco before you get into the park. I know the food is good at Petco, but get to Lolitas just past right field. It's right there on the corner. Down it with some roll tacos. Mira, entras gordito, ready to go with the cervecitas.
It's funny. I've always walked by Lolitas in the times that I've been there, and we only played there once in my career, but I've never been there. I've never been there.
You got to try it, man. I'm telling you. There's
my dad he's a truck driver. My dad's a truck driver, and he drives there back and forth, and he's always delivering at Lolitas, and he's like, dude, this place is good, man. You need to try it out.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, what's the name of that bar where your jersey's hanging up in San Diego?
No idea. You're the one that sent it to me.
Yeah, there's a bar in the Gas Lamp. Ace will tell us where we walked in there. Ricky's dad commutes every day from L.A. down to San Diego, and he delivers. He's a truck driver, and there's a jersey. If you just a random ass Romero jersey in some bar in the Gas Lamp. It's right next to Bub's. It's right around the corner from there. And you just walk in, and you're like, what the hell's a Romero jersey in there? He's like, that's my dad. He delivered there. So it's all the things to find
representing, out. Man.
Hell
representing it. El Orgullo de Roseville.
There it is. All right. Now,
hey, don't sell me out, bro. Garfield
okay,
too.
Yeah, well, that's not
both of them. Both of them. That's why. That's why the camp is for both schools.
We got a good friend, Razo, who's always giving me shit. He's like, bro, you went to Roosevelt for 1 year, man. You're a Bulldog for life. You're 3 years. I'm like, bro, let it go, man. Cut the cord already.
Yeah, que no terminaste, Ricky? If I'm not mistaken, you had like only one loss that year, no? Like when you coming out of like your senior year, like 12-1, 13-1, coming out of high school.
Yeah, I lost
Intocables, like the grupo. Eh?
I lost the last game in the playoffs.
You didn't lose. Your team lost. Forget that. They messed it up. Now, also, when Adrian is calling a strikeout, his signature call is siéntate, sit down. It's not him making fun of anybody. It just so happens the passion comes out. And here's what a siéntate montage sounds like.
Suelta. Siéntate. Retratado sin sonrisa. 2-2 conteo de Cuacuax. Suelta. Siéntate. Los 3 outs vía chocolate. Bate que bate el chocolate para comenzar en el Minute Maid Park.
Vamos a ver muchas perlas, muchachos, cuando mudemos a Atlanta,
¡Siéntate!
4.
Wait, hold on. Did you drop a bate que bate?
Yeah. Bate que bate, el chocolate. Yes, sir. Telling you, man, I say a lot of stupid stuff, man. It comes out.
Yeah. And I think that's what you appreciate the most, like the passion of it. Again, a baseball guy getting to watch, the most beautiful game, live, and he gets to bring it into your ears. And as a fan, when you're watching that, I feel like it hypes you up too. You're like, whoa, like, yeah, like you're like, yeah, So I think that's cool, man. I mean, I wish you would have called some of my games, man. Toronto.
Yeah, man. Imagine Toronto, they go crazy out there with that. Now, Adrian, where can your games are Fox Deportes? You can hear that in the United States, just to make sure.
Yeah, United States. And you know what? It's crazy. We've been getting people, I don't know how they do it. Obviously, there's ways, from Qatar, somewhere in South America. A lot of places in South America have been checking in all over the world, man. I don't know what they're doing, how they're getting that signal. Those sticks are genius. I don't know, but somehow, some way, people are tuning in, man. So we appreciate the energía coming from all over Earth, man.
Are you in like Mexico, Latin America too, or is that a different broadcast?
No, now with Mexico, I think that's where it's. I mean, there are people in Mexico saying that they're watching our broadcast. I know that there's people in Sonora, for example, that they check in all the time and they're watching our broadcast. Again, I don't know how they do it because we do have Fox Sports Mexico that generally covers that zone and that whole country.
So it's the U.S. audience that's listening to you. That's awesome. I just want to get
the U.S. audience is our main audience.
I have a question for you, Adrian. And you do football, you do baseball, you've done boxing. How do you transition energy from sport to sport? Because obviously football is different, right? I mean, there's a play, there's a running play. You can't like absolutely go crazy over that, like how do you transition the energy from like sport to sport from all the sports that you've ever called?
It comes down to the preparation, obviously the respect for the tradition of how you call, for example, football as opposed to baseball. The rhythms are different. Obviously soccer as well is just each one. I try to respect each sport and the essence of each sport, and I prepare accordingly. And I try to just kind of stay in my lane, as the great poet LeVar Ball says, right? You stay in your lane. You just kind of just want to do what you do and just respect the energy from the past and bring in a little sprinkle from right now and what you're trying to do and add to the table. So I think that's pretty much how I go about it. Try to respect the what's already been established, if you will, with the way you're supposed to call football and what type of energy. And then each of us has a different way of doing it, but I respect the lines and I respect the traditions of each sport.
And you as an announcer, do you get to go down to the field and kind of build a relationship with certain guys and try and pick their brains a little bit and maybe take notes of that and take it with you to the booth?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's part of it. No, when I get a chance to go down there, be down on the field, I know, for example, right now, World Series and COVID days has changed that quite a bit. Just the access now, you got to kind of check with the team. So we have our guy, Carlos Alvarez, who's our sideline reporter. He's the one that has to get approved through Major League Baseball, through the club and the clubhouse and the PR person. And then they hit up our PR person. And they're like, okay, it's going to be Jorge Soler in pregame. In the past, though, I've always had that. I've done it at Lakers. I do it at Chargers. I've done it. I'll hit these guys up. Beto knows, man. Beto's seen. Both of us are the same in that aspect, man. We're fearless. We don't. Going back to Kobe, for example, just hey, I remember one afternoon I told him, hey, papá, si te meten un chingazo, you're gonna bleed too. So why should I be afraid to talk to you? Why should people be afraid to come and hit up his eminencia? I got something to ask, So it goes for all the athletes and all the players, and I think that I've been able to connect with the athletes because of that, because they see I'm not coming in here kissing ass. I'm not in there trying to be like, mira qué grande eres, me hablas, me platicas. No, like I treat them normal, and I think they pick up on that. And then obviously ask them questions, get information, extract some juice, and obviously I'm going to take that to the air. There are things though that I can pick up on or I see, and I respect lines. I'm very much a code guy in sports as well. So having been an athlete, having played 3 sports, there's codes that you got to follow. And especially as you get older and you go through the different ranges of the sports, there are even more codes, unwritten rules. And I'm a big, but a huge follower of the code and the unwritten rule.
And I think that's the key for me, being a former big leaguer and dealing with the media, is when the media treats you as just normal, like, hey, what's up, man? Like, and you build that relationship with them. Like I've told Beto, I maintain such good relationships with the media there now because of the relationships that I had when I was playing. Like, it was like, you treat me as a normal person, cool. If you're like kind of shaking in your boots a little bit and don't know what to say, or and I also don't like the media who, I've always said this, who asks the question and then turns around and they just have the mic in your mouth. Like that to me, I was always, God, man, like I'd always be like, what the
look me in the eye.
Like, look me in the eye. Like I don't consider myself superior to anybody. I never will. I never did when I played. It was just like, just friend to friend, eye to eye, let's go, and if you build a relationship with the media, cool. If not, no big deal. You keep it professional. But a lot of the media, I feel like sometimes you can tell who tries to be super buddy with you and who's like, hey, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna ask you the tough questions, and you respect that.
Like I've told you in the past, some of these guys were the biggest nerds ever who cannot make a left-handed layup. They can't throw a ball. They can't swing it. And I'm not saying that I was, but I'm just, at the end of the day, just because you can write about it doesn't mean you know how to do it. Adrian thought he was going to be Moses Moreno at the Chargers, right? You thought you were going to take over his job?
Look at you, dude. What are you doing, brother? You're trying.
Right?
Yeah, man. It was just,
you wanted to be the Chargers quarterback and then play center field for the Padres.
Damn right. And it was something that I had told, may he rest in peace, Don Jack White, who inspired me from 6th grade to follow the dream of going into broadcasting. We used to do the news in my Barry Elementary School there in San Diego. And our 6th grade teacher used to do something really cool, Mrs. Cheryl, my favorite teacher all time. She would always have us do the news. Like we had different news teams, and Jack White came into our classroom one day, and I told him, hey, I'm going to do this, but first, either I'm going to be the first Mexican on Saturday Night Live, or I'm going to be the first Mexican on Sports Center. But first, I'm going to play center field for the Padres. So I could play next to Tony Gwynn for a couple of years, and then I'm going to be the quarterback of the Chargers. Hopefully, I grow it enough, and stay all chaparrito, But it didn't work out. I didn't get past that 5'10". So the dream to play quarterback had to just remain an Uncle Rico kind of dream.
For you, you obviously you grew up in San Diego. How special was it to see Tony Gwynn play? I mean, every day.
Wow.
Yeah, I was at that age where I knew what he was able to do. I didn't have the baseball mind that I have now, where I would like sit there and be like, whoa, like I'm watching greatness every single day. How was it for you getting to watch greatness every single day?
It was a beautiful thing. KUSI, thank you very much. Channel 51 always gave us our Padre games. And I would literally get out of school, get out of practice, do whatever Padres are on. So then I would just jump to the tele. My mom would make me a little spaghetti, mi lechita, vámonos, and watch Tony Gwynn. And it was just growing up, good for 2 knocks, 3 knocks every single game. Every single game, his approach to hitting, going to the 5.5 balls. And then obviously I worked my ass off with my dad. My dad had a cleaning service. So we cleaned doctors' offices and stuff. And I had to clean offices with my dad so I can earn enough so he can send me to the Tony Gwynn School of Baseball. Because that was the biggest deal for me to get to that school, that academy, when I was like in 8th grade. And I went there and got to learn from Tony Gwynn, got to learn from Brent Strom. Now I watch Brent Strom over here, the pitching coach, but he was there coaching us as little kids when I was in 8th grade, man, in San Diego. And they just had a really great system, and it was all based on Tony Gwynn's knowledge and how to kind of share that with the kids and throwing the knob at the baseball, and it just grew on me. And I try to emulate everything that Tony Gwynn did as a hitter growing up and through, high school and all that. And that's why I think my specialty became going opposite field in the right center. I'd rake doubles because of that approach. I'd throw the knob through the ball, vámonos a macanear, without trying to hit bombs, just trying to get on base and hit line drives. And it was just the Tony Gwynn School of Baseball.
How do you think Tony Gwynn would fare in today's analytical world?
Well, you know what? I think Tony Gwynn kind of introduced, at least he was the first one that I knew of that was grabbing his VHS, had a VHS monitor in the clubhouse, and he would go back and rewind, check out his at-bat from the previous turn, y vámonos, and make the adjustments in the next AB. So I think T. Gwynn would have been a master with analytics, but also would balance, like the good managers that you see now, balance both things together, because it's not all about the shit. Honestly, man, I'm a traditionalist in that sense. I don't like to see the shifts. Imagine the shift against Joe DiMaggio back in the day that we'd never have that 56-game hitting streak. All those things would go out the window, historic stuff that we've seen in baseball. So I think over-analytics is kind of killing it. So I think guys like Tony Gwynn would have found the balance to bring in the analytics, but also leave baseball as baseball.
That's the keyword, balance. That's the keyword, balance. And we've talked about this, Beto. I mean, if you're saying that, Dusty Baker and Snitker are not using analytics, you're full of shit. They are, that every team is. But like you said, it's the balance. And I feel like right now we're seeing the teams that are successful are the ones that are able to balance it out. And to me, I'm like you, Adrian. I'm a traditionalist, but I also like, you also have to be able to adapt to what's going on now, and that's just the way the game is, But if you're sitting there, like, and we hear plenty of guys on TV who sit there and just bash it, and it's like, bro, like, enough, bro, like, get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do in Spanish TV. All they do is hate. I don't know. All I hear, the soccer people, all they do is hate everything in soccer, right? The Spanish TV.
Yeah, that's a different beast, and I think it comes down to who the guys are, and their style. A lot of them, you see it. People love that they're that controversial and that they're always hating things because, there will be a moment where they actually like something. It's kind of like, Mikey likes it, It's so it's part of it, It's part of it.
And I remember when I did a few of the games in Vancouver as a color guy, that's the one thing the group chat told me. They're like, Ricky, make sure you're not that guy that's just sitting there. You're the old school veteran guy that's just bashing today's game. Instead, make the people understand what's going on. You've lived it. You know what it's like to be 60 feet 6 inches at that level. Now, just take us into the mind of the pitcher. Take us into the mind of what he's trying to do, the hitter. Take us into the mind. I was like, the last thing I ever want to do is talk hitting because I wasn't a hitter. I don't want to say, oh yeah, like, what is he doing there? Or like, you have to be able to move the runner over. When you say that, it's like, dude, I'm sure the hitter's trying to move the runner over. Like, godly, it's not easy. The guy throwing 96 and that ball is moving,
It's Major League Baseball.
Let me give you this. Adrian, let me give you this one. So you stepped in the box. You played college baseball. You know how hard it is. Right now, do you think you could get a bunt down against a big leaguer?
Hell no. Hell no. No way.
So when people are like, oh, just drop a bunt, there's nobody there. Like, you know how hard it is to do that?
Hermano, that's one of my pet peeves in this industry, especially like you said, in Spanish language TV in particular, because you don't normally have a lot of guys that are ex-major leaguers that go into the booth. So you have a lot of guys that are journalists that become analysts, and they want to, kind of break it down. It annoys the crap out of me like nothing else when guys pose as somebody that might have played ball or because they were on JV somewhere in some country back in the day, and all of a sudden they know exactly what the guy's approach should have been in that at bat. And then they question things that happen on the field. They question a manager. Now, for me, I try to be very, very careful when I have to bring up that information without questioning the hitter, without questioning the pitcher, without questioning the manager's decision, So all of those things, I think, go out the window for a lot of guys where they just try to pose and pretend because they think that that's their role, is to pretend to have, make it sound like you played. And grabbing a bat and, doing a promo on TV, como que fuiste caballo, like, no, stop, That's why I'll bring up this point. Like there's a lot of guys that are really good about just analyzing the game and leaving it at that and letting the fan kind of decipher a little bit and kind of figure out what it is that's happening. And like you said, Ricky, it's about giving them and presenting the information and doing it in a way where it's easily digestible for the casual fan as well as the analytic type fan, you know? So just stay away from pretending like you played ball. Just please no hagas esa pendejada de que, no, yo lo hubiera agarrado. Like, dude, wait a minute, tú nunca jugaste. Tú ni tenías guante, güey.
And you hear that a lot, which is why I can't stand, like, friends of mine invite me to go watch Niner games at a bar, and I'm like, no thanks. Like, I don't want to hear fans say he should have caught that, or why didn't he throw that? He was wide open. And it's like, motherfucker, you know how hard, like, those D linemen are coming out fast, and those guys are in slow motion. You know, when they slow down the replay and it's like super slow, like, those dudes are coming in, and you know, I mean, you call football games, and you picture a Bosa coming at you. He gets in there quick, and you have 2 seconds to react.
Mira, that's why there's that saying, man. All the Monday morning quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame. You know, it's easy. It's easy to kind of sit there and think that, oh man, he should have hit that receiver over the middle, man. The pressure wasn't that bad. He was. Are you kidding me? That's Von Miller coming at you. A ver, tú quédate ahí parado and see what happens.
Exactly. There you go. That's or like Mr. Boxing Guru, who just jumped into the chat right now. Guru could throw amazing jabs from the couch, but no. All right. So I know, Adrian, you gotta get back to your notes. You gotta get ready for the game tonight. If anybody wants to follow Adrian, make sure you guys Adrian Garcia MRQZ.
Hey man, I'm good. Hey, whatever you guys need, I'll stick around. We gotta
save your voice today, man. Adrian Garcia MRQZ.
Tecito in you and be ready for tonight, bro.
Yeah. What's that?
I said you gotta get that tecito, the little tes, so that little honey, so that voice in the road tonight. Do you?
Hey, I pass it along to everybody that is listening right now. There's this magic tea you can get it at all those health food stores called Throat Coat. My boy Rodolfo Landeros introduced me to this, and it's magic. Like literally, if you feel a little bit like Ricky, now that you're a broadcaster, Papa, you got to graduate into Throat Coat. Just get yourself that tea, drop it in there, a couple sips, and you're singing like Pavarotti.
They make a spray too. They make a spray at Whole Foods. They have it.
Oh, they have it now?
Yeah, they have a spray. No, I got it from Sprouts, not Whole Foods. It's a spray. You get right here. Because I used to have the Ricola. I used to take it with me and just chew that between innings. But now I got the spray. Just
perfect.
It doesn't work, but it looks good on Instagram. But it doesn't work for the voice for me. But it looks amazing. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a professional. What's it called? Yeah, I was gonna say if you guys want to follow Adrian Garcia MRQZ Twitter and Instagram, and he gives shout outs throughout the game. And Adrian, you keep sending a shout out to our good friend Forrest Contreras, Ace Contreras, Anthony of SoCal. But he's no longer a baseball fan. He's no longer a sports fan, so you can't shout him out anymore. He doesn't watch sports anymore. The Ace of SoCal is no longer.
I've seen him. Es que ya está casadito, and now he's like doing things and pumpkin patches, and he has no time for baseball anymore, right?
He's hanging out at Hello Kitty restaurant.
We've seen him, dude. Forrest. Oh yeah, but let's tell him why do we call him Forrest? Because Salento, like Forrest Gump. You know how Forrest Gump's and everything. That's our boy Ace, man.
That used to be him.
I admire him for that.
Yeah, okay? Yeah. It was good. It was a good run for look. It's Canelo Fight Week. Normally he'd be there for the grand arrival. His grand arrival.
He's not going to be there.
He's not even going to the fight.
No.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't watch
like when the Cubs won the World Series. Todo se fue al revés.
He doesn't watch sports.
It's my birthday on Saturday. I was like, I even told the guys, I'm in 2 months in advance. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas. Canelo happened to be fighting that day, and I was like, let's roll. And he's like, nah, bro, I can't.
Not even thinking about it. Just more like, no. What's it called? Finally, before we go, Adrian, you grew up in San Diego, Tijuana border. Did you play in those leagues in Tijuana like Ricky did?
Hell yeah. Amarillos, Estuco, Azteca's my favorite team all time. We were a bunch of pochitos, man. There was a bunch of us that were all from San Diego. And I know they hated on us because we would whoop ass every Sunday from 1 to 9. All of us can rake and everybody there. I mean, we were just a bunch of I just really enjoyed that area of San Diego. So rich in talent. I mean, you guys have seen at the big league level with Adrian Gonzalez's arrival, but first it started with Benji Gill. Once Benji Gill got discovered, and it opened up the floodgates for all the scouts down there in the San Diego, Tijuana area. South San Diego in particular for high school was so competitive. The Metro Conference was nuts, man. It was just like Grupo de la Muerte style World Cup, but it was straight up Metro Conference. We had Loaiza, we had Jose Silva. I'm sure you've run into all these guys along the way that got to the big leagues. Obviously, Oscar Robles was a hell of a ball player in the area. Edgar Gonzalez, my co-host here or my co-announcer for Fox Deportes. And it was just an area rich in talent. I know I'm forgetting quite a few names. A lot of guys that kind of, weren't able to get through the systems moving up that were ultra talented. Maybe an injury derailed them. I know, for example, my boy Birdie Bird Rodriguez, one of the best hitters I've ever seen in my life. And he was able to get to Zaraperos and then a couple of injuries. And it's just a hotbed of talent. And it never surprised me as to why the scouts just flock to the area. Because if you want to find a good pelotero, pochito or not, we're there in South San Diego and into Tijuana, and some damn good baseball being played from TJ to Tecate, man.
These guys didn't believe me when I told them I played in the Liga Municipal. My grandpa, in his living room, has the picture, the team picture, where we were La Piratas, and our team was terrible. But I go every weekend and try and help them either on the mound or hitting, if that's what you want to call it. But I went out there, dude. It was awesome. Like it was. It's cool because I always tell these guys, you always used to have a double header, and then they had a torta where you get tortas in between games.
The tortas, baby.
Yeah, and then you get a torta, boom, play second game.
Yeah, you get those tortas in the little like sweaty paper. And then after the game, you go to the tacos across the street, and then you like add like maybe, because remember, now we're all young bucks, we eat about 15 tacos. And ¿cuántos fueron, compa? 4, jefe. Y la soda.
Yeah. That's the one thing I always noticed about TJ. That's the one thing always about TJ. You sit there and you eat, and they want you to be honest. Obviously, at the end, they're like, "Hey, ¿cuántos fueron? Fueron 7. Okay, boom, vámonos." Like they never were like right here where they like, "Oh, here's 5."
It was the honor system, but there were times, bro, I was broke, man. My mom kicked me out at 18. I was living on my own. Yeah, at that point, and I had to live off 99-cent Jumbo Jacks, man. So I had to kind of alter the final rate there with the tacos.
I respect the hustle, man.
That's what we've heard. Like when we had
brother,
Sergio Romo
you want tips on being a drive-through warrior? I got you, man. Like I'll get that. Remember back in the day when those 99-cent Jumbo Jacks were in effect, or the 99-cent big deals, I would always add or ask for extra lettuce and extra tomatoes and ranch. Then I'd knock off the lettuce, knock off the tomatoes. You have to need a salad and a burger for 99 cents.
Look at you, man.
The junior college struggle right there. The JUCO struggle. That's why when we had Sergio Romo on, he was talking about how living in El Centro and Brawley in that area right there, going across to play in Mexicali, and just he's like, you think you're a badass at 14, all of a sudden you're facing grown ass men drinking beer in the dugout. You can't throw shit to them. They see your fastball. They're like, hell no, get out of here. It makes you grow up quick.
We had a guy in the San Diego Independent League, man. It was the first time I saw true cheese. I was like 14, 8th grade, 9th grade, ya jugando con los veteranos caballetes, right? And I was, I thought I was holding my own swinging. Remember, I was fresh out of Tony Gwynn School of Baseball. I was ready to rake. And then I saw this dude named Juan Eichelberger. Holy crap, man. That ball just left his hand like just, either can go, like, what? Juan Eichelberger, man.
Wow. He played in big leagues, right?
Yeah, he played for, I think it was the A's and the Padres.
His son played at Cal State Fullerton.
Come on.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Jared Eichelberger. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Don Juan was a old school badass, brother. He came in and he wasn't messing around with no kids. He was just like sitting us all down. And in fact, that's where the siéntate comes from, guys. Like, I'm going to give a shout out to my boys. When we be playing wiffle ball in some park there in Chula Vista, California, that's where the siéntate comes from. And I brought it with me to the broadcast booth as a shout out to my boys, all the guys that I grew up with playing wiffle ball with in those parks. My boy Birdie Bird, my boy Yo-Yo in particular, and my man Junior, my compadre. We'd all just mess around, but I just took out one word because it was always one extra word. Siéntate, pendejo. It was like, and it was just throwing some cheese, boom, los dejabas. And that's where it came from, man. It's from there.
That's great. Just don't ever let the pendejo slip out on TV.
No. It's been deleted forever, man. I just keep the siéntate and add the little flavor to it. That's all. But it's a shout out. That siéntate is a shout out to all my boys.
I always say it. I mean, I always tell everyone what made me the player like have just. My dad used to call it "Vente para que te pongas como navaja." He used to say that, "Come play Sunday League so that you can be razor sharp." Yeah. So I go there. I turned 14, 15. They actually made like a fake credential that made me older because I was still young, so that I can play. So I'd go there and I'd pitch. They just, here you go. They fed me to the wolves, and here, figure it out. No pitching coach, no pitch counts. Just go out there, figure it out. And most of the time I was successful, but I learned how to be a bad motherfucker on that mound. You know, I was like,
okay,
let's go. You know,
you do it like
I one summer ball, and I don't think I've ever told the story. One summer, I was at Cal State Fullerton already after my freshman year. I got sent to Northern Ohio, and things didn't work out. And I ended up leaving early, and I came home, and I called the Cal State Fullerton coaches, and I said, hey, I'm going to go play Sunday League because I haven't had enough innings this summer. I'm going to go play Sunday League for my dad's team. I hope you guys are okay with it. And they're like, go ahead. Dude, I went there, and I got ready. Boom, led to my sophomore year, All-American, national champ, Team USA. The rest is history.
Come on.
Nice.
Yeah. Come
it
on.
does. It's because it's damn good baseball.
I started my summer in Northern Ohio, playing in the Great Lakes League, and I ended my summer playing Sunday League at Belvedere Park in East LA.
Come on.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. You know that Belvedere Park, I love the story, the old school, the first real true OGs, the Choriceros. I'm sure you've heard the story of the legends, right? The Choriceros. And it was that first group of Chicanos, Mexican Americans that were just establishing their presence in Southern California. And then eventually you have your first guys to go to UCLA, your first guys to get drafted to the Baltimore Orioles. If I'm not mistaken, that was the first club to pick up a couple of Choriceros. And I think that all of Southern California, from Los Angeles all the way down to Ensenada, guys, I'm going that far. There's some damn good baseball being played and so many damn good players that just never got into big league baseball. There's probably the best shortstop I've ever seen in my life. And this is saying something because I've seen quite a few, but there was this guy, Ramon Pacheco, played in Tijuana. Holy smokes, talk about Ozzie Smith smooth. And I never understood why he never got to big league baseball. And guys like Oscar Robles, who were also badass, and Adrian Gonzalez, as I mentioned, Adrian, for example, you're talking about being a little kid. I remember seeing Adrian at 13 years old going up there and just mashing against Caballetas, already throwing 90 plus in the TJ leagues, man. So it does make you better. And like you said, Ricky, it also adds character to your game because you have to deal with these borrachillos that used to be ballers in the Mexican league, and they'll throw at you. You're trying to hug the plate, you're trying to get in on your pass, y de repente te dan una cachetada with a fastball.
The one thing about my dad was like, he was always like, no tengas miedo, don't be scared. Don't be scared. I don't want you to be scared on that mound. And I'd go after these guys and attack. I strike them out, and it would, like, to the point where they're like pissed off. I'm a young morrillo, and these guys wouldn't want to talk to me after the game, you know, because I either struck them out, I dominated the game. I never really got hit around that bad because I had, you know, the presence, and here you go. You're not gonna hit my shit, you know, and it just, it kind of, like you said, it just built my mindset into a different state of where, like, I've been here, you know, like college baseball. Yeah, okay, I can handle this, you know, and obviously there's little bumps along the way that go through when I was at Cal State Fullerton, whatever. But that summer, I finished my season in Sunday leagues.
Look, you know what? You think you're badass? Oh, there's the picture. Hold on, Rick. Let me see here.
Nice.
Look at this. All right, there it is. La Liga Tijuana Municipal.
Yeah. See, I was amateur. Liga Amateur was the arch nemesis league of Municipal. That's the amateur. That's where I was at, man. So in TJ, that's some damn good pelota, man. But let me tell you guys this. Now on the flip side. So back in the day, Mr. Youngbuck ahí contra un Juan Eichelberger. Now let's go to the future. Now I'm Adrian, the broadcaster. I'm working at Telemundo, and a buddy of mine invites me out to play in the Mike Brito League out there. And I think we're at Cal State Dominguez Hills in that area where we were playing ball. And I'm like, you know, and the manager's like, hey, I heard you caught. You know, you want to catch? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll catch. I'm like, damn, I hadn't caught in a long time, but all right, I'll do it. And he goes, I'm going to bat you third. I go, no, jefe, bateme de séptimo octavo. I haven't seen a live fastball in years. You know, I guess I'm a dad now. Like, I'm not going to hit. Well, anyway, I get to that first AB, right? And I see this kid, and he's being Ricky Rowe, right? Mocoso ahí, trying to throw homers, and he was throwing gas. And what I did notice was he had his girlfriend there sitting in the first row. So estaba tirando aceite también. Vil tirachera el morro, ¿no? But he was pumping. So he's cane guys. And I'm like thinking, okay, this kid's going to start me off. You know, I'm going to check out the cheese first. So he throws that fastball, boom. Y la veo, ¿no? Like, ay, canijo, este morro tira bien. And then he keeps looking at his girl, like as he's getting the ball back from the catcher, he smiles at her or whatever, right? Like, look how I'm gonna treat this old school dude or the viejito now, right? So boom, throws another one at me. I swing and miss. About a half hour later, I'm like, shit. Okay. He's gonna K me. Now, the smart kid would throw a changeup, something off speed, make me chase, and I'm done. But I go, este mocoso, he's trying to show off. He's going to pump another fastball. Now let me figure out his location. Oh, he's going to try to get me a little bit in, little down. Vamos a ver. Okay. Dicho y hecho, throws me a fastball. Low, inner half. Whack. Se la saco de ahí, right? Hit a bomb. So I hadn't hit a home run in ages, right? So I took a half hour to roll the bags. And I'm smiling. I'm about to get my Gatorade right now in the dugout. At least I'm just feeling good that I can still hit. I can still hit okay. As soon as I got to that next AB, what does that kid do? He puts a fastball on my ribs.
Ooh.
I couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't cough for weeks, man. I'm like, and I looked at him like, come on, mijo, dude, let me enjoy the day. And he says, because I showed him up right there in front of his lady, brother.
That's what you're supposed to do. Like Montoya's watching right now. Does Adrian want to play Sunday leagues? They're trying to recruit you right now.
Hey, brother.
Hey, if you
look, the problem is
a baseball agent charges 4%. Adrian, I'm gonna hook you up. I'm gonna give you my boxing manager rate of 33%.
Hey,
so I will charge.
I'm down though. I've been wanting to play ball every single day, and I know both of you, like anybody else that has played competitive baseball. Every single day you wake up, you want to grab a bat, you want to go play, and it hasn't died in me.
If my Jefe hears you say that, he'll have a contract out ready for. He'll go to your house and be like, "All right, my dad still plays. My dad still plays. He's 58. He just turned 58 last week. He still plays
3 times a week.
That's awesome.
Sometimes, yeah.
See, I'm 40. I'm 47, going on 48. So I'm definitely going to be in those 40+ leagues now.
Hey, there's leagues like the white guys do it right. The white guys go to Arizona and play the complexes. The Mexicans stay at Belvedere Park and in HP.
It chaps his ass.
I love it there.
It chaps his ass that I tell him I don't want to play anymore. Like he's like, come on, man, you're fucking 36 years old. You telling me, Dad, what do I have to prove? What am I gonna go do? Like I don't want to get hurt. 2, if I have another surgery with 3 kids, no thanks.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's you're out there, and then say for example, like if I have I go play. And I have a soccer game to call later on that night. And then some mocoso throws a fastball at my neck and takes me out. Entonces, al rato voy a estar hablando con un welt in el no. It makes you think, man.
Look who decided to join us. The Ace of SoCal. Chief is the best player in baseball history.
¿Lo dejaron?
Yeah. He has a new phone.
¿Cuánto tiempo? He's probably in a time limit, though.
Yeah. That's why we got to finish the podcast right now.
That's the only message you'll get from him.
Yeah. Now, go back to this, Adrian. When you faced Juan Eichelberger, how old were you?
14, going on 15.
Now, this is like what? Late 80s, 90s?
No, this is about 1990.
Okay, so 1990. I just researched Juan. Fantastic name, by the way. Juan Tyrone Eichelberger. Yeah. You faced him in 1990.
Yeah,
90, in a Sunday, and you're 14.
Yeah.
By that time, he had already played at UC Berkeley, pitched for the Padres, Indians, and Braves, and pitched in Japan. He was just...
He's out there messing around. I'm telling you.
He almost threw a no-hitter in Padre history against the Cubs in 1982. Umpire messed it up because it was not cleanly fielded by Tim Flannery. So this dude, just fresh off of Japan, messing around, sees a punk 14-year-old, and he's just throwing gas at you.
With a mullet.
Well, his name is Juan Tyrone. Come on now. And Ricky, his son, Jared, runs a baseball academy called Baseball Science in San Diego. He played with you at he played at Fullerton.
Right there, San Diego Independent League, man. They had a variety of different caballos in that league. Let me tell you.
What a mess. What a mess.
That's crazy. But those are the cool little memories that you take from it, right? I mean, that's what this game does. I feel like basketball you start at a young age, football you start at a young age, but I feel like baseball you start at an even younger age, and just you create so many memories along the way. You see so many players, you have so many teammates along the way that you're just like, my dad still to this day says, hey, we need to get the team that played at Salazar Park. We need to get you guys together one day. And I'm like, bro, that's like 20 years ago. Like, where the hell are you going to find these guys? But he's like determined to find these guys. He wants to get that team together. That was like, we were pretty good, but for that area. But yeah, I mean, it's those memories. Like every once in a while we'll sit there and talk shop, and he's like, "You remember so and so?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "You remember so and so?" "Yeah." And I'm like, "Dude, how do you?" My mom's always like, "No, you don't even remember when we got married, but you sure as hell remember."
That's what happens.
All right, so Adrian Garcia Marquez will be calling Game 6 of the World Series tonight. If you want your shout out, let him know you heard it on the Let's Go Ricky Roll podcast. Adrian Garcia MRQZ.
Put you to the front of the line.
Yeah, you get switch to the front of the line. Adrian Garcia MRQZ is where you follow him on social media. He'll be calling the game along with Edgar Gonzalez and Carlos Alvarez. That'll be pretty good. Last thing I'm going to leave you with this is, Adrian, I know you love your baseball, but there's one thing that he loves even more, and it is this. You're going to be very proud of Ricky.
Yeah. It's all on me, Rick. Where's this at?
Oh, man.
That's Ricky right there. But Adrian, just like me, Ricky has no idea who he is. What is this? What are these characters? He has no idea about Star Wars.
A ver, en serio. So we have Chewbacca in the back, Darth Vader, Princess Leia, and it looks like, what is that, Kylo Ren? On the far right there.
Yeah. Bro, yeah, my kids all of a sudden
it is Kylo Ren. I see by the lightsaber now.
Yeah, they're obsessed with Star Wars. They think I went and got my mascara in TJ. My cousin was giving me shit. He's like, "Will you go get that mask in TJ?" I'm like,
es lo que te iba a decir. Ese es un Chewbacca bien barato, ¿eh?
Yeah, bro. One day, and my wife is like, "Hey, I ordered you a Chewbacca costume," and I'm like, "Wait, I didn't even get to see it?" And she's like, "No, you're just wearing it."
If she checked the small print, it probably say Chewbacca.
There it is, right there, Polanco.
That's probably what it was.
You kept the
Chewy. Chewbacca.
There it is. Yeah. I have no idea about Star Wars, but my kids are obsessed with it all of a sudden. So,
dude, Star Wars. Mira, when people ask me, like for me growing up, it wasn't Batman, Superman, or my superhero was Han Solo. To the point where even in the booth, I always sit on the left side because that's where Han flew the Falcon. Whoever's next to me gets to be Chewie, pero Han Solo soy yo, papa.
No idea what he just said.
Me either. I couldn't even tell you what Han Solo is. Like, no idea. But
he's the biggest badass of the galaxy ever.
I have heard it though. Like even the Toronto Blue Jay people, because they're like, they love my kids. They see them all the time, and they're like, "What are you guys going to be for Halloween?" And I was like, "They want to be something about Star Wars, some characters from Star Wars." And they're like, "That's our best-selling night at the stadium." And
really,
I was part of one in AAA Buffalo. Dude, not an empty seat, Beto. Everyone showed up for Star Wars night.
Dude, and it's crazy. It goes off. Even at Xolos games, like in TJ, they had their Star Wars nights, and it goes off. They even went as far as having uniforms that were like Stormtrooper kind of related for Xolos Squinkles. And then they have the best bullpen cart I've ever seen all time. They use it to get guys off the field in this case, but it has the little Millennium Falcon roof. You can't beat that, man. It's like a little mini Millennium Falcon again in Tijuana. It's so badass.
So you watched every single movie.
Oh, don't get him. Don't start.
And I can
we need a new podcast just for this.
Mira,
oh, here it is.
I've watched every single movie, and I was ultra disappointed by the last Skywalker or whatever that was. The last three.
All right, thanks for watching the Let's Go Ricky Roll podcast.
The last three.
Don't get Star Wars people going, man. Don't ask them any questions. Don't, because then all of a sudden they get to these like, oh, but it was like I've heard enough. There's been enough conversation when people are like, oh, where were you and Adrian talking about the Laker at the floor next to Kobe? Fucking Falcon. His truck used to be. What did you name your truck?
The Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, he names his car.
I always wanted one, man. That's why I said I want my own Millennium Falcon one day when I made it, right? And it was the dream. We all have a dream. Guys want a Porsche. Guys want Bentley. I just wanted a big ass either Silverado, una Ram así, pero Millennium Falcon. And I got it.
Awesome. Hey, Rick, you see, he's more excited talking about Star Wars than he is about the World Series game he's going to call today.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying, the last three movies were disappointing. And the kind of sucked, but now they grew on me because the last three sucked. Yeah. Go ahead.
November 28th, the Ricky Romero baseball camp at East LA College. Adrian, I wish you could be there, but you're going to be in Denver with the Chargers. Listen to Adrian every single week calling the Charger games on La Que Buena 105.5, along with Francisco Pinto. But tonight you'll hear him on Fox Deportes calling the World Series, if it'll be a game 6 or 7. And also he does fights for Fox Deportes too. So wait, are you going to the Canelo fight?
Actually, we're going to be doing a studio show from LA because we're not calling it. It's a Showtime event. So I got basically the pre and the post from Los Angeles covering Canelo. Canelo, what do you think, man? I think Caleb Plant offers him probably the best challenge he's seen in a long time, but I think Canelo's still going to destroy him.
So va chingar. Ricky will be there in attendance. Ricky bought tickets for everybody. He bought Ace of SoCal 2 tickets. They're going to go unused because Ace is not showing up. So,
man.
Exactly. We'll do it again soon. We'll talk to you. I know you want to save your voice, and good luck to you tonight. We'll be watching you on Fox Deportes. So, Ricky, that was cool, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Adrian, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bro, always good seeing you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, and good luck tonight. We'll be listening.
Yeah, man. That was good. It's funny. It's after that.
No, hey, we could probably go for another hour with Adrian, too. I mean, he's got
just on Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just on your Tijuana stories. But that would be good. All right, so we'll do the podcast again next week. Tully hopefully has a cell phone service. Maybe we can get him. And then the World Series will be wrapped up. We'll see what's going on. I got word out to some other broadcasters, different people that have been covering the game. So we'll see who we will have on. And if you know anybody in the LA Unified who's a high school baseball player that is smart, let them know the Ricky Romero baseball camp. Taking applications right now.
Keyword, high school. High school. I know last or 2 years ago we had 6-year-old parents trying to sign up 6 and 7-year-olds. It's high school kids, and eventually we want to get down to the younger kids. But right now, it's our main focus is trying to motivate these high school kids that there is a way out of that East LA area, whether it's baseball, whether it's academics, whatever it is. It's high school kids only for now. Apologize for the younger ones, but hopefully one day we'll be able to get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, and people are like, well, we're losing money on this proposition here, so don't worry about it. But it's free, but it's for the kids. It's going to be a huge event, so make sure you follow along on Ricky Romero Baseball Camp. So, Ricky, I'll talk to you this week. You playing golf this week?
Tomorrow. You want to play?
What time?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? Let me look at my schedule. I got nothing to do. I'll go. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Another edition of the Let's Go Ricky Romero Podcast.